Now, it's being reported today that Juventus are very close to securing Kolo Muani on loan with an obligation to buy from PSG. What do you guys make of it? But the one thing we know in football, in transfer markets, is very close doesn't mean it's a done deal. Juventus have also lined up Darwin Nunez as the replacement from Liverpool. And Liverpool, I feel like, are a bit more open to the loan with an obligation to buy in comparison to PSG, who are looking for a straight up sale of somebody like Kolo Muani. But of course, the lack of buyers might mean PSG will head into the direction of accepting Juventus' offer. Now, what I want to break down to you guys is why, in my opinion, Kolo Muani is better suited to Juventus' overall project than somebody like Darwin Nunez. And it's not going to be the traditional, oh, he's a better goal scorer and he's got better movement in the box. No. It's going to be 3 reasons which indicate why he's a better fit for the overall profile. Okay, now reason number 1 why I feel like Kolo Muani is better than Darwin Nunez for this current Juventus project is his versatility. Now let me explain. Okay, his versatility. When you make a signing, you always have to bear in mind that what does the future hold for this signing if the manager was to be sacked? It's something that we have to think about. What does the future hold for this signing if the manager was to be sacked? If the manager needed to change formation, if the replacement manager moves away from the 3-4-3 and wants to play a 4-3-3. So for example, if Juventus had just gone and paid 50 million for a wing back, a player that can only play as a wing back, he can't play as a full back. You always have to sit down and tell yourself, if the manager gets sacked and the new manager comes in with a 4-3-3, what does it mean for this player? He's out of the project. He's out of the picture. I look at Kolo Muani and I say his versatility alone is probably worth 10, 15, 20 million in my opinion. The fact that throughout his entire career, whether it was at PSG, in a France shirt, at Frankfurt, at Juventus, he's always played like a utility player, but he's always had something to offer, whether it was down the left-hand side in rotation with Kenan, whether it was towards the right-hand side in rotation with Nico Gonzalez, Coop Miners, Conceição, or if it was in rotation with somebody like Dusan Vlahovic. There was even a period where we saw Dusan Vlahovic and Kolo Muani on the same pitch at the same time, and I believe he assisted Dusan Vlahovic. His versatility alone makes him a better alternative, a better option than somebody like Darwin Nunez, where Darwin Nunez is a striker, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. Darwin Nunez, I feel like physically, this dude will be a game changer for a team like Juventus, strictly from a physical aspect. Kolo Muani, his versatility will allow Tudor to play in a variety of different ways. If Tudor was to be sacked, whoever the replacement is, you want to play 4-4-2 with a split striker system, Kolo Muani can play in that system. You want to play 4-3-3, Kolo Muani can either play as your 9, as your false 9, or even go play out wide and run the channels. Because of that, and the fact that Juventus are willing to pay about what? I believe it's 10 million loan fee with about 30-40 million obligation. You have to take these things into consideration. The long-term future of this asset. And because of that, Kolo Muani, 1 point. Now, what's the second point? The second point, I feel like, is his overall football fundamentals. And this also applies to future coaches. So, for example, Tudor might be looking at Kolo Muani and saying, I admire your versatility. I admire your ability to press from the front. And I admire your ability to play on the counter, to play vertical football, to run the channels, to stretch the pitch. If Tudor was to be sacked, if Tudor was to be replaced at the end of the season, if Tudor was to be replaced after his 2-year contract, the new coach might come in and say, I'm not really looking to play vertical football. I'm not really looking to play over the top, pressing, aggressive, tenacious. I'm not really looking to play like that. I want to play ground-based football. I want players that can drop deep, create overloads, play with their back to goal, give and go, interchange with their teammates. But once again, Kolo Muani can do this. Darwin Nunez can't. Darwin Nunez suits the very vertical approach. And I'll be completely honest with you guys. There's a reason why he looked far better under Jurgen Klopp than he has in comparison to somebody like Arne Slot, where Arne Slot, he will play vertical, but at the same time, he wants to put his foot on the ball and retain possession. Jurgen Klopp, he's literally known as the rock and roll manager. It's just all out attack, charge. When you look at somebody like Kolo Muani, he suits both styles of the game. And because of that, it's now 2-0 Kolo Muani, Darwin Nunez 0. Well, I said 2-0. Now, the third reason is chemistry. I'll be honest with you guys. When you look at Juventus heading into the campaign, Last season, I feel like they spent heavy and they brought in a lot of players where we all sat down and said, how long is it going to take Coop Miners to finally begin to show that Atalanta form? How long is it going to take him to settle in Turin, to settle in this camp, to settle understanding the pressure of this shirt? The same thing was said about Conceição, the same thing was said about Nico Gonzalez, the same thing was said about Lloyd Kelly. This is said about every single signing. But when I look at Juventus and I tell myself, this is a dude that showed within a matter of weeks, I will settle in. Within my first game, I will have an impact. Within my second game, I will be the man of the match. He's already well settled into this camp, under this coach. The fact that he played under Thiago Motta first, Kolo Muani for me just hits the ground running. And I feel like those types of players are so good. And once again, I can apply it to the new manager philosophy, which I've just created today. The new manager philosophy. When a new manager comes in and they want to implement their philosophy, their style of play, what they want is players to get on board as soon as possible. Players that can buy into it as soon as possible. Players that can implement their instructions as soon as possible. Kolo Muani, the fact that under Motta, I believe he had like, 2-3 training sessions before he was thrown into the deep end against Napoli. Yeah, Napoli, not Cagliari, not Empoli, no, Napoli. He was just thrown into the deep end and he got the job done. Tudor then comes in, completely change of system, completely change of formation. In high pressure moments, Juventus trying to secure Champions League football, he delivered the goods. And of course, when it comes to Kolo Muani, when I say he delivered the goods, I don't mean strictly in terms of output. Like Kolo Muani's overall game, it genuinely benefits somebody like Kenan Yildiz. It genuinely benefits somebody like Conceição. It will definitely benefit somebody like Jonathan David. Okay, like he's very selfless. For an attacking player, he's very selfless. He plays for the team. He presses for the team. He doesn't care who scores as long as the team wins and the overall objective is hit. But the fact that he's got chemistry with these players, the fact that he wants to play for Juventus, the fact that he's rejected so many offers this summer in order to try and force a move to Juventus, in my opinion, that makes it 3-0. That makes it 3-0 to Kolo Muani. But of course, the last reason was more the icing on the cake. In my opinion, his versatility and his overall footballing fundamentals, they allow Juventus and they elevate them with or without Tudor. It just helps the team more in general. Like his ability to play with his back to goal, his ability to control the ball, his ability to play possession-based football, his ability to play counter-attacking. Now, I'm not saying he's amazing, like he's a 10 out of 10 at counter-attacking football or he's a 10 out of 10 at possession-based football. But I can guarantee you, he gives you the fundamentals. I can guarantee you, he gives you the bare minimum. I could only sit down and imagine if, let's say, Juventus get Darwin Nunez and a new coach comes in and he says, Darwin, no more running in behind. I want you to drop deep and play with your back to goal. Juventus have now got themselves a problem because it's not going to work and they now need to let him go. And it's very similar to Dusan Vlahovic. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's very similar to Dusan Vlahovic, where as soon as Motta came in and he looked at Vlahovic and he said, okay, cool. You're not going to be a lamppost in attack anymore. You are going to have to drop deep. You are going to have to interchange amongst the forward line. You are going to have to play with your back to goal. You are going to have to learn how to give and go, when to drop, when to stretch, how to stretch, hold up the ball, wait for the team to press. What happened? After 3, 4, 5 months, we all looked at Dusan Vlahovic and we were like, you can't do this. So either we go back to playing your way or you're practically surplus to requirements. And I feel like because of those reasons, Kolo Muani is a far more better deal, far more permanent, better signing. And I just feel like the dude is, 25, 26. Like, he's genuinely got so much more space to grow. He just needs that right environment with the right trust. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I'm all for Juventus getting back Kolo Muani because from what I saw, I was very impressed. Now, if you're new, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on another one.